until the neighborhood sort of deteriorated, and he relocated to this area. The area he's in is an area which he wants to revitalize and help the community. He's been in contact with his delegate. Here's a letter in support from the Melvin Stukes in support of.
What's this, same thing?
Same thing. Same thing. One for each, Chairman. And here's the original application.
Market Exhibit 1.
We have secured over 500 signatures from residents in the community in support of the transfer, indicating it's necessary for the public need and accommodation, and it won't unduly disturb the community, the health, welfare, safety of the residents of the community, and they believe the issuance of the license is necessary for public need and accommodation in the public interest. And that's a signature petition with over 500 signatures. In addition to that, all these folks in the back row are residents of the community. They're all raising their hand. There's approximately
This Market Exhibit
10 individuals who are here actually in person in support of the applicants for the issuance of this license.
Is there any opposition?
There is no opposition whatsoever. The applicants have a food permit, a trader's license.
Exhibit 3. Exhibit 4.
There's their trader's license. They have
Exhibit 5.
gone down and did the police record check. Their LLC is in good standing. All for that.
Exhibit 7.
This is their certificate for workman's compensation,
Exhibit 8.
copy of their charter,
Exhibit 9.
copy of the record check for the other applicant.
Exhibit 10.
They also have secured an appropriate use certificate of occupancy already for the use for the seafood carry-out, take-in and take-out with the sale of beer and wine with outdoor table service. It has already been approved by the, Mr. Jones would appreciate that. The property there is a consolidated building. It is on the corner of McHenry and Monroe Street. This is a plat showing the actual property. The health department has already approved the location. They have inspected the location. There's a copy of their inspection report. There is the outdoor table service will be in an enclosed area. It is not accessible or seen by the street. It's on the property.
Is this on the corner of Monroe and McHenry?
That is correct. It's been,
Lots 38, 41, and 42, I think.
Swear all witnesses.
Sir, I don't even know your name.
Swear all witnesses. I'll take care of it.
Raise your right hand, please. You swear or affirm the testimony you share that you will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right, state your name, sir,
Leo, L-E-O, Divine, D-E-V-I-N-E.
and you're the operator, licensee. Go ahead, what did you want to say?
I was going to point out the lots that you're looking at on the paper, 38, 41.
3841.
additionally, Mr. Chairman,
Next exhibit.
both
Lost
of
track.
the applicants have certificates of alcohol awareness, which I'll present for the board. I don't want to call the.
Next number.
I appreciate all of the individuals who have come down here. They're in the back. I would just proffer that what their testimony will be consistent with what's on the petition. And there is a clearance letter for the board from the,
Next number.
and here is a copy of their sales tax license.
Next number.
And that would conclude our presentation. I don't know if the board would have any,
You have any
any-
testimony you wish to
any
make?
questions. Very briefly, Mr. Devine, want to state your name for the record?
Leo Divine,
And Mr. Devine, can you tell the board briefly what your experience has been in the sale of alcoholic beverages?
I've been in business since 1972 at various locations in the city. I've held licenses in Lexington Market, the National Aquarium, 3901 South Hanover Street, and also previously we had a license at this location right here. However, we gave it up because we didn't want to sell beer anymore, but we have a different business plan this time, and we're going to,
Can you tell the board briefly what your business plan is?
well, we're going to offer steamed crabs and beer and wine at affordable prices to people in the neighborhood, people who maybe can't afford to go down to Captain James or Bo Brooks and buy crabs for $60 a dozen, but would be happy to buy crabs for $16 a dozen, 2 dozen for $28. Everything's going to be popularly priced, and we're going to offer that to the neighborhood.
Questions, commissioners?
At 16 a dozen, what size are the crabs?
Well, there'd be a smaller size crab, but we've got other sizes too. We always have the best sizes and prices in town. We guarantee that to everybody.
Size and price. Yeah. So, what community associations have you spoken with about?
Well, there is no community association for the immediate area. I did talk to the Carrollton Ridge, Connie Fallon, and she basically told me that she had no standing on it one way or the other because we're not in her district. When I spoke with the delegate and also with Councilman Pete Welch, he told me that there was no community association in the area.
So that strikes me as a little odd, that there's no community association. Can you tell us, or perhaps your attorney, what you did to confirm that there's no active community association that would have an interest or standing to speak on the application?
My client reached out and spoke with people in the community and did his research, spoke with his delegate, and did all he could to find that. That's why we came with over 500 signatures and people from the community. I think that's more dispositive of the need and desire than a community association that's basically there is none that exists.
What did you do as counsel to confirm the non-existence of a community association?
Just spoke with my client and
We
Tried
spoke
it.
with the delegate and with the councilman, and both of them told me there was no community association for the area. I also spoke with a couple of the neighbors who told me that there was no community association in the area, that it had disbanded. Previously, it had been Pratt and Monroe was the community association, and they have disbanded.
And you own the property there as well.
I
so-
own the property at.
And how long have you owned the property?
Since
This-
1992.
That's why a client might be willing to form a community association.
That a block away is the center of crabs right now in that community.
That is,
And that
that's,
always has been for 40, 50 years.
yes, sir.
And the only question I have is, right there in McHenry Street, which of course is a block away from Pratt, where all the other crab sources are,
Yes, sir.
is that residential there, or what is next to this location? Is that a residential house?
There's a residential house right next to that, right next to our lot across the alley from us, as there are right next to the other crab houses that are located in that area.
And no opposition there?
No opposition, no, sir.
How far are you from the Reginald Lewis Museum?
2 to 3 miles, original. We're in West Baltimore. Pratt and Monroe
Yeah.
Street would be the nearest large, well-known cross streets.
And how did you secure 500 signatures in 1 week?
Customers who just came in the restaurant.
So you're already open and operating?
We are open and operating as we have been since 1992, selling crabs. We're high volume. We have a lot of customers. If I had more time, it was a different time of year, we could have several thousand people on that list.
And if I'm just unclear, you're transferring a license from
Lexington Market.
Lexington Market to 1848 McHenry Street,
Yes, ma'am.
and that license is active?
Yes.
Yes, it had been active,
It's
yes.
in continual use?
But continuing use, actually, I was on that license. We purchased that license in I believe, 71.
And it's been in continual use
continual use. I wasn't on the license currently, however, because I sold it to my brother, but he was on the license, or we purchased the license originally back in 1971.
That's all the questions that I have.
Anything else?
Now, I don't
Anything
know
else?
if the board would like to hear from any of the spokespeople in the back. Would any one of you like to speak in support of?
Let's see if the commissioners want anybody else to speak. You want to hear from anybody else?
I'm ready to make a decision.
Hmm?
I'm ready to make
Ready?
a decision.
You?
I would just like to know that there is not a community association that's active, operating,
Sure.
and has an interest, or the lack of.
All right, swear the witness, please.
Raise your hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
And your name, please?
Sandra Ricks,
And Ms. Ricks?
How do you spell your last name?
R-I-C-K-S,
Ms. Ricks, where do you live?
2003 North Monroe Street,
And how far is that from the prospective?
about 5 blocks.
And how long have you lived at that location?
Well, I lived there about a year,
About a year.
but I live in the vicinity. I used to live on 2064 Linden Avenue, which that's when I started working at Mr. Divine's establishment.
And how long have you been working there?
17 years.
All right. And to your knowledge, from living in that community, is there a community association that's,
No, but we would try to get one up if that's the case. But no, everybody's just like the mall or something at that location. Everybody go shopping and buy their little food and stuff. We got a chicken place, and then the crab spots.
Which mall?
I mean, like the malls. I mean, it's like a shopping place. Couple houses in the middle, but it's not.
all right, so you don't know of any community association?
No, sir.
All right.
Anything else? Any questions, Commissioners?
No,
Just one, the location was posted with the
Yes, ma'am.
licenses coming in?
Yes, ma'am.
And when was it posted?
Posted on, I believe it was the 15th, and the sign is still in the window today,
15th of September.
of September, yes.
All right, thank
All right, ready for decision? I vote yes.
yes.
you. Yes.
You have our decision, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are you ready? Call the next case.
It is Ronald Murr and Thomas Murr, Murr's Tavern. This is located at 36 East Fort Avenue, excuse me. This is a Class D, beer, wine, and liquor. Application to transfer ownership for live entertainment.
All right, your counsel, no counsel.
No counsel.
Is that correct?
Yes.
All
yes,
right,
sir.
swear the witnesses.
Raise your hands. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Yes,
All right, state your name, sir.
Owen Muir.
And you are what to the licensee?
I'm the owner of the,
Or the owner? And I'll be glad to hear from you. What did you're asking for a transfer of ownership of a Class D at 36 East Fort Avenue and a request for live entertainment. And there's no opposition, is that correct?
What's happening right now is basically, we met with
And your
the,
name, sir?
our name's Thomas Muir Jr., and what we did is we formed the LLC, and the
Who's we?
transfer,
right, yes,
we
Father and
went,
son,
no, I'm nephew,
nephew.
and currently, what we're doing is, basically, he's just adding my name to the license, okay, because of his age and so forth, in case something happens down the road to him.
And you've also asked for live entertainment.
We have, but at this time, we're not going to request that.
So you're dropping that?
We're dropping that right now because we want to get together, and first of all, we'd have to get a permit and then go back to the community association. So we told them at this time we weren't going to do that.
All right, you have a letter here which I will present to the,
Are you testifying, I mean, have them sworn in yet?
We have been sworn.
I've been
they've been
sworn.
sworn.
That's one.
I'll walk through. I'm gonna sit still this time.
I have a letter here from the South Baltimore Neighborhood Association, which is in support, is that correct?
Correct. Here's a letter here.
Oh, you have it.
Same letter.
All right, Exhibit 1. All right, questions, Commissioners?
My only question is whether this license, that you're gonna be added to the license, and that license is valid, it's been in constant use, there are no issues with respect to the validity of the license,
No, ma'am.
as far as you know?
70
Right.
years.
Yeah, we've been in, the family's owned the business for 70 years.
Okay.
I do have a question. What is your memorandum of understanding? Is that supposed to be part of this deal?
I'm sorry, I don't understand that question.
I have a letter here from South Baltimore Neighborhood Association,
Okay?
and the executive board unanimously voted to sign the submitted memorandum of understanding with Ronald Murr and his nephew. So
Correct.
where is that memorandum of understanding?
The details.
Do we have a signed copy for our records?
I do not have one yet, but I can make sure that we receive one as part of this. Yes. But I did go and
It's
get.
already signed. Signed. Mark it as
Yes,
part of Exhibit 1. Show it to the other Commissioner.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
I'm ready for decision. Anything else? If not, I vote yes.
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 You have our decision. Approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Ready? You okay? Call the next case.
Okay. The next item is John Dahlgren, Row House Grill LLC. Row House Grill, this is at 1400 Light Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. Request to add live entertainment and outdoor table service.
Counsel, enter your appearance.
Good morning. My name is Anastasia Thomas Nardangeli, and I represent
And how
the
did
Row
you
House
spell your
Grill.
last name?
Nardange.
Nargan.
Nar, D as in dog, A-N, G-E-L-I. E-L-I.
Esquire. All right, be glad
Yes,
to hear
sir.
from you, ma'am.
To speed things up, I made a package of exhibits for each of the board members.
All right.
We have been before the Board of Zoning Appeals and they have approved the outdoor seating and the live entertainment. We are waiting for the issuance of a final approval letter
From whom?
from the Board of Zoning Appeals. And as exhibit number 6 in the exhibit package, I have included the planning report that was submitted at the zoning hearing with certain conditions that were accepted by the Board of Zoning Appeals. As soon as we have a UNO permit, we will submit it to the liquor board. We're asking that the liquor board approve the live entertainment and the outdoor seating at this hearing today so that we can move quickly as soon as we do get the UNO permit. For the exhibits, I have a description of the live entertainment, a floor plan showing where the live entertainment will be in the restaurant, description of the outdoor seating, floor plan showing the outdoor seating. We're only asking for 4 tables with 2 seats at each table, so that's 8 seats total. We've also procured a letter of support from the South Baltimore Neighborhood Association, which is conditional on an MOU, which is attached as exhibit number 7 in the exhibit package. The owner, Pat Dahlgren, is here. At this time, he can answer any questions the board might have about the proposed changes to the liquor license.
You're going to present testimony.
We're not presenting testimony unless the board has any questions from the owner.
All right, questions?
This is just, I'm just comparing two different matters. So you were before the zoning board when?
Last week,
Do you have a specific date?
It was Tuesday, so it was September 23rd.
And you're saying that they approved?
Yes, they have approved. We've confirmed the approval. However, they sometimes take several weeks to actually get the letter of approval out the door.
What's the live entertainment?
Just acoustic guitar, nothing.
Well, I can speak about it.
Okay.
It's,
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
Swear the witness.
Raise your right hand, please. You swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes.
Your name, sir?
My name's Patrick Dahlgren, the owner of Row House Grill.
And John is who to you?
John Patrick Dahlgren.
Oh,
I just
I
go by
see.
Patrick.
And you were stating what your live entertainment
So with the
is.
live entertainment, I met with the community or the neighborhood association multiple times, coming out with this MOU. So we've picked the 3 specific dates that they agreed, and it's 2 acoustic, not going over the decibel level that's in accordance with the community, which is 80, with the doors closed at certain times. So it's Friday, Saturday, not past midnight, and Sunday, not past 6 p.m.
You're talking about musical instruments.
Musical instrument, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And being acoustic, not past 80, the normal sound levels. And then having all doors and windows closed while there's live entertainment, which they signed off on.
Any questions, commissioners? Any other questions?
Do you have a copy of the MOU?
It's included as exhibit number 7 in the exhibit package.
Anything else? No?
So John P. Dobbins crossed out. but
Yeah, so
that's
they made the
because-
mistake with, they had my old business partner's address, which is the St. Ives address, and then they had John Patrick and Patrick as 2 different people, when John Patrick Dahlgren is myself. Living at 1413 Harbor Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21230.
Patrick Dahlgren is.
Is me.
Okay.
And John Patrick Dahlgren is me. They just kind
He
of.
goes by Pat. He goes
Yeah.
by his middle name, so it got
At some point, you're
confusing.
gonna have to
Yeah, right.
pick one
Patrick
name
Dahlgren, yes,
that you're gonna
Patrick.
be officially known
Yeah.
by. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm ready for a decision. I vote yes.
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 You have our decision of approval.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Ward.
Call the next case.
Matthews Wittgensburg, Claudia Levitas, and Barbara Barr, HOA of Maryland, Restaurant Holders, LLC, trade name Hooters at Harbor Place. This is at 301 Light Street, Suite 173. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license, application for transfer of ownership.
Morning, Commissioners.
Yes, ma'am. Can I have your appearance, please?
Martha White on behalf of HOA of Maryland Restaurant Holders LLC.
The first name?
Martha?
Martha.
Yes.
All right. Do you have testimony?
We don't have testimony. We just filed a transfer application, unless the board would like. We filed a transfer application because of internal reorganization and a name change. Nothing within the operations of the restaurant will be any different. I have the general
It's the
manager.
same place you were located.
That's correct. It's just an internal.
Harbor East, I guess we call it.
Exactly. Nothing other than.
Or West, which?
I'm sorry.
Are you Harbor East or West?
It's at 301 Light Street.
I think you're in the West, we call it.
Okay.
Yes,
Pardon?
Just making sure.
Oh. Go ahead, ma'am. Excuse me.
You said it was East Harbor?
Well, you're off of, it doesn't make any difference, all part of the old Rouse Company development.
Okay.
And now under the ownership of, I forget.
I'm not sure of the, do you mean the ownership of the restaurant?
No, the entire complex.
I don't know of the ownership of the
It'll
entire,
come to me, but I can't remember.
okay.
Go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. I'm just, again, nothing within the restaurant is changing. It was just an internal reorganization with the name change, streamlining what entities could be streamlined. We are in the process of getting occupancy permits changed over to the new name, health permit, and the trader's business license changed to the new name, but we have already been issued the sales and use license.
Your new name will be?
The new name will be HOA Maryland Restaurant Holder LLC, changing from Hooters of Harbor Place LLC.
So you have here TA Hooters, it's not trading as, you're not going to use that?
No, it would still be trading as Hooters.
Still trading as?
Yes.
Okay. All right, questions, commissioners?
Just basically make sure I understand this. It seems to be clear. The same business plan is still in place. Basically, the same people are involved. It's at the top. You got some changes in either your management or your ownership, or you're taking some names off, adding a name on, but everything else is still the same.
There were multiple different, everybody was owned by the same place, but just had different names, different entity names. Now there'll be a single entity names for the entities that can be combined. But within the organization of the business itself, nothing is changing.
Well, I don't know how good, some things need to change, but that's not why we're here. So who will there still be a Baltimore qualified person on the license?
Yes, and that is
And who is that?
that's Miss Barbara Barr, who is here.
Barbara Bond. And what is your interest in?
All right, swear the witness.
Oh, sorry. Yep, you can use it.
Raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or raise your right hands, please?
She's sorry, she's.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Your name, ma'am?
Your name?
Barbara Barr.
And you might ask her the questions that
Ms. Barr, are you going to remain as the resident license holder?
Yes, I am.
all right, Commissioner?
And what is your role with the organization? Do you work for them, or are you just a person from Baltimore that's?
Just person Baltimore in the zone of the area.
All right, and do you work there? Are you going to be present at the location?
I have the general manager over here, Mr. Chris Urso, who is present and works for the restaurant.
And do you live in Baltimore City?
No.
Urso? It's a URSO. Our other license holders were excused from the hearing today as long as we had Mr. Urso and Ms. Barr present.
You have a spelling okay? Okay. Any other questions?
None?
Ready for decision to vote yes?
Yes?
No.
All right. We have a majority of 2 to 1. You are approved.
Thank you.
And call the next case.
I need a second, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me know when you're ready. Call case.
Okay, it is Michael White and Bruce Richardson, Sobo Taco Spot, LLC, trade name Banditos, 118 South Charles Street. This is for a Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor. Application to transfer ownership of location of a BD7, beer, wine, liquor, license presently located at 1439 South Charles Street to 118 South Charles Street, and a request for live entertainment.
Previous is outside.
Yes, I believe Mr. Previs is here.
There he comes.
Good morning.
Enter your appearance, please.
Peter Previs on behalf of the licensees for Banditos, 1118 South
Are you going to
Charles Street.
present any testimony?
No, Your Honor.
Be glad to hear from you.
Okay, This is a request to transfer a license from 1439 South Charles Street to 1118 South Charles Street. As the board is aware, the current license at 1118 South Charles Street is a Class D, 6-day, 1 o'clock license. they've contracted to purchase a Class BD7 7-day 2 o'clock license from 3 blocks down the street in exchange for sending the other license to 1439 South Charles Street, which is more of a residential type of area, in exchange for a payment to the BD7
So that
licensee.
1439 is going to go out of business?
No, they're going to switch licenses, Your Honor, and their case will be called next if,
Oh, I
but
see.
both deals are
This is
contingent upon each other.
a switch then?
Yes, sir.
I get it. All right. And you're also asking for live entertainment and outdoor table service?
Yes, sir. The premises already has live entertainment. We're not asking for any additions or modifications to that. We are asking for outdoor table service. We already obtained a zoning board resolution. They modified pursuant to planning's input to two tables of 4 each, and we've agreed to that. We have the resolution. We've applied for the use permit. It has to clear Board of Estimates for the minor privilege permit.
Let's see, I have David Tanner's report. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
And so that's the resolution of the zoning board?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
Questions, commissioners?
Just want to make one thing clear. Today, we acting upon the license for 1118 South Charles Street, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And when the D license gets ready and you want to have that applied to 1439 South Charles Street, you're going to submit for a hearing for that also?
It's next hearing, sir.
It's the next hearing?
Yeah, we applied simultaneously.
All right. I'm good. I just want to make sure, I heard somebody use the word, be switching. I just want to make sure it's clear that you can't switch with this one.
Filed both applications together. We're doing all the paperwork together.
That's why you wanted it best.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Commissioner?
Just one. Now, and I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but y'all have been before us on violations within, I think, the last 60 days. And I just wanted to know whether or not those violations have been cleared, they've been paid.
Yes.
and there was fully.
Yeah, there was one violation. It was, the police officer said they were open at 1:05. They admitted guilt. They paid $625 immediately, and that was paid, and the check cleared.
So that's clear. Okay. And
Thank you.
there's no community opposition?
No, met with the community. They said they were sending a letter.
Because we don't, the record's silent on community opposition and equally silent on community support. So if you could just address what you did
Okay.
to reach out to the communities, I would be interested.
Sure. Number one, we do have a letter from the Business Association. If I can get my file out. This is a letter dated October 2nd from the Federal Hill Hospitality Association from Brian McCone as president in support of the license application. Additionally, the licensees did meet with the South Baltimore Neighborhood Association, SBNA. Both applicants met and explained the situation, and they were in favor. We already have an MOU with them with regard to everything else, and that they were in support of the outdoor table service and the expanded hours if this is granted.
So you're saying there's an existing MOU and that'll continue?
It will continue.
And that applies to which property?
1118 South Charles, Your Honor.
1118.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
Let me just see the letter from the. But that would be it for my questions.
I'm not sure. Are you finished?
Oh, I apologize. Yes, I am finished. Thank you.
Decision, anything else? Nothing? I vote yes.
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 Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Now you're going to be here on the next one.
Um,
Another attorney.
We're off the record, sir.
Okay. Ready for the next case? Okay, call the case.
Gary Morse, Catherine's Pub, LLC, trade name Delia Foley's Pub. This is at 1439 South Charles Street. This is a Class D beer, wine, and liquor license. Application to transfer ownership and location of a Class D beer, wine, liquor, presently located at 118 South Charles Street, and a request for live entertainment.
So I was just looking at the chairman's pen on the tie. What is that, Chairman?
That's a railroad engine.
Excellent. Abraham Hurdle for Delia Foley's, 1439 South Charles. I apologize for the interruption. Gary Morse could not be with us today. He's in South Florida for a business matter. Unfortunately, it came up at the last moment. I apologize. On his behalf is one of the assistant managers or managers at the bar, Mr. Mark McFall. He does have a power of attorney for Mr. Morse. And I have been speaking with Mr. McFall with regards to community support and things of that nature. The community is in support of this. The hours are being restricted from what it was. So it's going from a 2 a.m. license to a 1 a.m. license. There is no MOU. There has not been one in the past. Live entertainment is on the second floor. They would like to keep that. They would not to change the situation at all. It is just going to go from a 2 a.m. 7-day license to the D license 1 a.m. If there are any questions, I can have Mr. McFall speak to those, but it is the other side of the switch from the last case.
Swear to witness.
Raise your right hands. Raise your hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Your name, sir?
Mark McFall,
How do you spell McFall?
MCFAUL.
All right, questions, commissioners?
Can I ask one question? I think this might
Certainly.
address the
Oh,
other
I'm
questions.
sorry.
I apologize. Mr. McFall, did you meet with the community in this matter?
Yes.
Were they in support of this?
Yes, they were 100% support because we're taking a 7-day license, moving it down the street to Banditos where all the bars are, and bringing a 6-day right into the middle of the neighborhood. So they voted unanimously. It's on their website, but that they voted unanimous and they supported it.
I have no further questions for Mr.
All right,
McFall.
commissioners?
Can you tell us who you're referring to when you say the community?
SBNA, the South Baltimore Neighborhood Association, which oversees both locations.
Are there other community associations that have sort of a shared jurisdiction over the location?
No, we're further down, but there's been no opposition or no one calling about it because we're taking a 7-day out of the neighborhood and making it less hours.
And I'm really curious as to how that came to be. It's usually you want to expand as opposed to contract.
It's a financial decision. There's compensation, so and then Delia Foley's doesn't have a real late night crowd anyway. The Sundays will hurt us, but that's the deal.
So basically a financial
Yeah.
decision. Can I just say, I mean, for me, when the commissioners, the chairman's not ready to call the vote, but it would be really helpful to actually have documentation from the community associations. I totally accept your representation.
And I completely understand the concern.
But I personally would be more comfortable to actually have a letter, have documentation, have signatures. It just completes the file and proves to address any concerns that might be raised later as to lack of community support.
I will certainly advise Mr. Morse and Mr. McFall that they should seek out a letter indicating what they previously achieved in terms of the support so that it can be added to the file.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Let me say that if we approve anything, and it's based on the testimony, and it turns out the testimony was inaccurate, then we'll bring it right back before the board.
Certainly.
We're
I would hope
assuming
so.
that these, I have no reason to believe that anything that I've been told is inaccurate, but if that possibility exists in the future, that is our policy. All right, I'm ready for a vote. Anybody else? No? You'll vote yes.
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 All right, you have our decision of approval.
If I found out that any testimony I gave was inaccurate, I would be the
I know
first to
you would.
You're the
notify.
first one to bring it back.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Of course you would.
Have a seat down here, sir.
Mr. McFall?
Let me know when you're ready.
We are flying through this today. It's good. over to the courthouse.
Call it.
Richard Sosi and Ronald, I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher this, Bushorsen. This is at 1700 East Fort Avenue, LLC, trade name City Limit Sports. This is 1700 East Fort Avenue, a Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor. Request to add outdoor table service.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and the board. Peter Previs on behalf of the licensees.
All right, Mr. Previs, are you going to have live testimony?
No, Your Honor. When I have one... Your Honor, most respectfully, we request to withdraw this request for outdoor table service at this time. We still have to do some things with zoning and actually pen a memorandum of understanding with the community association if they are in agreement.
All right, and that's the only thing you're here for?
Well, in this case, yes, sir.
Yes. Therefore, no objection, the withdrawal is approved, and outdoor table service at this time is withdrawn by the council for the licensee.
Thank you so much.
leave.
All right, thank you.
Ready? Call it.
The last one is Lydia Fitzsimmons, James Softly, Eric Butterfield, Roxy's Restaurant Group, LLC, trade name Fredericks on Fleet. This is at 2112 Fleet Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, liquor license. A request for hardship extension under provision of Article 2B, 10504D.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Charles E. Brooks, Law Offices of Brooks and Kozlowski, appearing on behalf of the licensees.
And how do you spell your last name, sir?
Brooks.
All right. Be glad to hear from you. You going to present testimony?
No.
All right, be glad to hear from you.
Your Honor, as you're well, I think the file will reflect, we opened in August of 2012, renovated a building, spent considerable sums of money. However, as so often happens in this industry, it's been a financial failure after the investment of probably in excess of $250,000. Ultimately, we closed on June the 28th of 2014. We are in various negotiations with potential purchasers, but it's certainly nothing that would be able to be concluded within the original 180 days. It certainly will require more time than that for negotiation, settlement, things, and approval of this board, of course, of the transfer of the license. As a result of which, we respectfully request that this board grant an extension pursuant to Article 2B, Section 10504.
Questions of the commissioners?
No, no questions.
So when would the 180-day extension begin?
I did not calculate that. We closed on June the 28th.
So they would begin that day then?
And that would be the first 180 days. But what we're requesting is the second 180 days, giving us a total of 360 pursuant to the statute.
Yes, but you haven't gotten to the second yet. You're on the
Not
first
yet.
here.
Well, we're quickly approaching it, Your Honor.
Everybody seems to be more familiar with the statute these days.
Absolutely. And back in the olden days, of course, as Your Honor may well remember, licenses were held and called being held in trust and things of that sort for years, not days.
All right, any questions of commissioners?
No, it just sounds to me like what you're asking for us to do is when your first 180 days expires, and let's just say it's Christmas,
Yes, ma'am.
You would like an additional 180 days because you're anticipating challenges
Yes, ma'am.
completing the transfer.
That is correct.
So what we would be doing today is saying that when we get to Christmas,
When we get to the first 180 days.
we would give you an additional.
That I get,
presum-
no, right, and we get an additional 180 days. And the reason for it is that, well, frankly, we spent a fortune in this place, and it just didn't work, as so often happens, and we're doing our very best to retrieve as much as possible. We're under an extended lease period and have to negotiate with the landlord as for the termination from it as a result of personal guarantees. that run into the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So the license would continue until about, our executive secretary is showing me until June 19, 2015.
That would be correct.
All right.
Well, let me make one thing clear here, that the first 180 days is what we're here to discuss now. And once that 180 days has concluded, it's your responsibility to come back before us again and request another hearing so that we can decide on whether or not a second 180 days are.
Mr. Commissioner, if that is what the board elects to do, certainly we would be more than happy to come back before the board and explain that 180 days has passed. I, however, representing the corporation, am of the belief that there's no conceivable way that this business could be sold before this board as to the transfer, because obviously there's a period of time involved with that, dealing with the community, etc. But if the board so elects that we be back at the conclusion of the first 180 days, we'd be more than happy to do so.
That's been our policy.
Yes, sir.
The law
So-
gives you 180 days. So you have now until approximately December 28,
Yes, ma'am.
2014.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm hearing you say, and what I'm prepared to vote on, is I'm hearing you say you already know you're not going to make it by December 2014. So you're asking prospectively for that additional 180 days pursuant to 10-504D2, I believe.
And if in fact, the board is willing to consider that, we would be respectfully requesting the total, if you would, of 360 days.
Because that's what the law gives you if you ask for it.
But today, you understand,
Yes, sir.
okay, and you've got to
Right.
come back.
So we'll send another letter next week or within the next few weeks indicating that the hardship is here, it is now, and it is continuing. I assure you, Your Honor, Commissioners, that the hardship is extreme.
Okay. I'm ready for,
I think that, I mean, just to clarify the issue of also is because we received a letter that from another attorney that was representing this case, and
Stephen Luch.
Stephen Luch.
And he's the one who requested that I appear today.
Yeah, and I just wanted to kind of clarify, because when he spoke with one of my staff members, the staff member gave them information saying that they had an entire year. And they codified that into a letter. And the reason why I brought them here today was for them to actually put that onto the record. And that was the reason why, because the letter was a little bit mistaken regarding the amounts of time. So I wanted that clarified. So I just wanted to let you know the reason why this is on your agenda maybe prematurely is because of the fact that there was a letter that was sent codifying the fact that there was an extended period of time over a year. And I wanted to make sure that was clear to the applicants.
I don't think there's anything premature. I think what he's doing is correct.
Right.
But you have to ask, as you have correctly said, you have to ask in separate occasions for your
Yes, sir.
additional time. That's what the code says.
Yes, sir.
And I vote yes.
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 You have our approval, sir.
Thank
We
you,
look
Your
forward to
Honor.
seeing you again.
Commissioners, thank you very much for your time.
And that
Best of luck.
May
completes
I be
our,
excused?
you're excused.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that completes our morning docket. We'll see you at 1 o'clock. Let's go.
Okay. Jacqueline McCusker, Pizza Ole Inc., trade name Nacho Mamas, 2907-11 O'Donnell Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor, violation of 3.12 Peace and Welfare. Licensees shall operate their establishment in such a manner to avoid disturbing the peace, safety, quiet, and general welfare of the community. March 23rd, 2014. Security guard maced by police officer. Violation of Rule 4.18, illegal conduct. No licensee shall allow or allow the commission on his or her premises of any act which shall be contrary to any federal, state, or local statute, law, or ordinance against the public peace, safety, health, welfare, quiet, or morals. Again, March 23rd, 2014, security guard was maced by a police officer. Security guard maced a police officer. excuse me.
Stanley Fine, counsel for Pizza Ole.
Swear all witnesses.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you have to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Who's going to lead off the testimony?
Mr. Chairman, could I, we admit to the charge of the police officer being maced, and we already apologized to Officer Steigerwald before we came in, so.
All right, so therefore, with the facts that on the 23rd of March, 2014, at 2907-11 O'Donnell Street, on this particular day, a police officer was maced by the security guard, is that correct?
Security guard hired by the licensed city, yes, that's correct.
And let me ask you this, officers, was this an accident or was this a deliberate happening? Your name, sir?
Officer Steigerwald, Southeast District.
And you're the victim?
Yes, sir.
And what happened?
I need the spelling of the name, front person, last person.
Steigerwald.
And do you agree to the other facts that I've read into the record?
Yes, sir.
And why were you, do you know why you were maced?
I was attempting to break up a fight that was out on the public sidewalk in the 2900 block of O'Donnell Street. And I believe the security guard was maybe inexperienced, stepped beyond his boundaries. And in his attempt to help me, I guess,
Were you in uniform?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Go
Sprayed me
ahead.
directly in the face with the pepper spray.
Any questions of this witness? Commissioners, any questions of this witness?
I want to make sure I heard you correctly. Did you believe that he mistakenly sprayed you in the face in an attempt to help you? Is that what you say?
He's a security guard for the bar. He was out on the sidewalk. I don't know. I guess his intention was to break up the fight. But in what I don't know, I can't speak for what was going through his mind. But his first action was to spray me directly in the face.
Let me ask you something. The other people involved standing near you, were they as large as you?
There were quite a few people on the square that evening. I believe it was either Friday or Saturday night, and it was a crowd.
Any questions? No. All right. Officers, do you have anything to add to this? Your name, sir?
Officer Crocus, Southeast.
And your name, sir?
Officer Foda, Southeast.
Wait a minute, spell your...
First one, first names too.
Sure, Mario. First name is Mario. Last name is C-A-R-A-C-A-S.
And you're
Southeast, yes, sir.
Southeastern. Your name, sir?
Name is Officer Sean Foda, S-E-A-N. Last name is F-O-T-A, also Southeast Patrol.
Do you have anything to add to this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Any other evidence or questions?
Just, Mr. Chairman, that prior to this hearing, when we met Officer Steigerwald, we apologized to him, both Ms. Cusker and myself. This was an unnecessary act by our agent. I think he was trying to break up the fight, and he just maced unnecessarily the police officer. I don't think he intended to mace the police officer, but he did.
And with respect to punishment, she has no violation since 1998, sale of a minor. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Any other questions to the commissioners before I reach the decision?
Can I just
ahead,
comment
sir.
very shortly? We terminated the security company immediately after the incident. We have a new security company. Our policy has never been the mace, and we've making sure that our security guards do not even carry mace because it was unnecessary. There are two charges rising out of the same incident, and I just might add the second charge, it relates to the conduct on the premises. Well, the licensed premises are inside. This occurred outside on the sidewalk. So I think from a technical point of view, we didn't violate Rule 418 because of the issue of premises, but certainly we are in violation of Rule 3.12, and we acknowledge that.
All right. With respect to the charge of 3.12, I find you responsible. And I might add, Mr. Fine, as you well know, under the law, the bar owner is responsible for the conduct of his employees.
Absolutely.
And of course, the security guard becomes a contract employee under the law. With respect to the fact that she hasn't had any violations since 1998, of course, always is something that's impressive because bars are subject to a very, very regulated industry, and violations can occur. However, running a bar is a privilege and not a right, and the bar owners must always be responsible for their employees and take all happenings, because this is absolutely an outrageous happening. With respect to the fine, it's $700, how much time do you need to pay it?
We can pay it today plus the administrative charge.
Commissioners?
Did you combine both, or did you delete one of the charges?
Yes, I'm eliminating 4.18 in view of the facts. So only 3.12. Thank you, Commissioner.
So for that reason, I would suggest a fine of $500. I think that's the maximum you can impose on a first violation. Is that?
That's true?
It's, well, because it's a first violation at any time, so since there was the minor. you
There
could-
was?
Yeah, that was what he was reading since 1998.
I apologize.
But
Okay.
the board policy is previously was that you looked at a 3-year period, but the state law is that you're the whole entire, so that's the reason why you could do it.
All right, then I will.
I concur, 700.
I join.
All right, so you have our decision, sir.
Thank you.
And you, what did you say, 2 weeks?
No, we're going to pay it right now.
Pay right now.
Thank
All right, as soon as the
Yes, sir.
court reporter is ready. Call it.
Hua Young Lee, Son Jo Lee, and that is Bacchus Bar, Inc., trade name Bacchus Bar and Liquor. That's at 1220 West North Avenue. That's the Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license establishment, a violation of 5.03A, Class BD7. The holder of a Class BD7 beer, wine, liquor license must operate on its premises must operate an on-premise consumption establishment with on-premise consumption. On March 5th, 2014, police detective was with his entrance to the bar while still providing packaged goods services. This is another violation of Rule 3.02. Licensees shall cooperate with representatives of the board, police department, health department, building engineer, grand jury, representatives of other governmental agencies. This is from September 7th, where the licensee refused to sign or accept their copies of the inspector report. This is a violation of Rule 3.06, Safety and Sanitation. Licensees shall operate their establishment in accordance with the requirements of the Health Department of Baltimore City, building codes of Baltimore City, and the rules of the regulations of the Baltimore Police Fire Department. This is on, again, September 7th, 2014. The inspectors found the rear exit gated, locked, and chained and blocked. Again, it's another violation of Rule 5.03A, a Class BD7. The holder of a license BD7 must operate an on-premises consumption establishment. This again is from September 7th, where the inspectors found the tavern portion of the establishment was closed to patrons.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Previs on behalf of the licensees Hua Young Lee and Sung Ju Lee. Mr. Chairman, I respectfully request a postponement. Mr. Hua Young Lee, who is 54 years old, has been diagnosed with lung cancer that has metastasized to his brain and his kidneys. Today, he is currently at the University of Maryland, Baltimore Washington Medical Center in Glen Burnie, undergoing a CT scan, and his wife is with him. His brother is operating the establishment at the current time. I had planned that the wife would be able to come down, even though Mr. Lee is very, very ill, but she deemed it necessary to be with Mr. Lee during this procedure. So most respectfully, I do request a postponement.
We have a letter, of course, that you submitted, and which you've known about this for some time. And I believe it's been postponed before, hasn't it?
Yes, sir. This matter was postponed back in July because Mr. Lee came in and presented the information on his cancer, and I gave him some time to try to figure out a date. And then we presented this with additional charges because our inspectors went back out there to check to make sure they were operating, and they still weren't. So that is an issue.
Yes, first of all, if he is unable to, and I don't doubt that he has lung cancer, and I accept that medical report, you have to, when you have a bar, you have a very responsibility to the general public, because it's a privilege, not a right. And Mrs. Lee could be here, and she has chosen to be with her husband, and I don't have any problem with that. But she should have had it turned over to either you, sir, the proper legal responsibilities of representing her, or appointed someone in that capacity. And I find that her failure to be here is unacceptable, and therefore the request for postponement is denied.
Yes, sir.
All right, swear all witnesses.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
And now your plea is
Admit, Your Honor.
admit. All right, Officer Greenhill, I see you're here, Detective Greenhill.
Yes, sir.
Give us a general, you can, since you've already been sworn and your name is Greenhill, what's your assignment?
My assignment is Special Enforcement Section Vice.
And your first name?
First name is letter L, letter C, last name Greenhill.
All right. Go ahead, sir. Read the facts into the record. We have an admission, so we just have to get through the facts enough to sustain the charges.
All right, sir. On 5 March of this year, between 2350 hours to 2400 hours, which is 12:50 p.m. to 12 midnight a.m., you're right along with Detective Akawande, also of Vice, conducted a BD7 investigation at Bacchus Bar and Liquors located at 1220 West North Avenue. BD7 as defined by the rules and regulations of the Liquor Board for Baltimore City as tavern operations, which means a tavern is an establishment where alcoholic beverages are habitually sold for on-premises consumption. Your writer on a daily basis received numerous complaints of BD7 license holders not permitting patrons of various communities inside of liquor establishments that operate as a tavern along with packaged goods. On this particular evening, Detective Akawande, who was working in a plainclothes capacity, walked into the establishment and immediately asked to use the bar area. An identified Asian female clerk asked the Asian male clerk, who was later identified as licensee Mr. Lee, if he was allowed access to the bar, referring to Detective Akawande. Licensee Mr. Lee asked Detective Akawande for his identification and further stated it's his policy to hold on to the ID itself. Detective Akawande handed his identification to the unidentified female agent clerk and again asked for access to the bar area. Licensee Mr. Lee stated to Detective Akawande the bar is closed and he would have to order his drink from the packaged goods portion of the establishment. Detective Akawande asked what time does the bar close. Licensee Mr. Lee replied 12:10 a.m., but the current time at that time was 11:50 p.m. Detective Akawande asked to use the bar area for a few minutes to order a shot of Jack Daniels, but again was denied access to the area by Mr. Lee. Detective Akawande left the establishment. Minutes later, I entered the establishment observing the packaged good portion of the establishment be open, with one patron purchasing an alcoholic beverage. I entered the tavern area of the establishment and observed it to be empty. Your right advised licensee Mr. Lee that the tavern portion of the establishment cannot be closed if the packaged goods section is fully open. I further advised Mr. Lee he must allow patrons in the tavern if they choose to do so. I left it in the control of his operation control. Report forwarded to the Liquor Board.
All right, Detective Akawande, does that comport with what your knowledge and testimony would be?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Inspector, that same question. You give us your name fully.
Agent Mark Fosler, Acting Chief Inspector, Baltimore City Liquor Board.
And what, if anything, do you have to add to this?
On Sunday, September 7, 2014, approximately 1 p.m., Inspector Cleve Brister and Inspector Wendell Wright, both to my left, entered Bacchus Bar and Liquors. They asked if the bar was open. The only person working in the establishment at that time was Mrs. Lee. Responded that the bar was not open. Several patrons in the packaged goods area told the inspectors that the bar was never open. The Inspectors Brister and Wendell Wright exited the establishment and advised me of what had occurred. I entered the establishment, waited in line to speak to the licensee, observed several packaged goods sales while I was there. While waiting to enter the establishment, the rear of the establishment, Mr. Lee entered, and he was carrying several cases of cigarettes. I identified myself, and he admitted me to the tavern portion of the establishment.
On September 7th.
Yes, sir. I explained that the bar portion must always be open and operating when packaged goods are being sold. I further explained that 2 inspectors were told that the bar was closed. Mrs. Lee became upset and shouted at me for about 20 minutes that was not true, that the inspectors only asked to watch the football game on television. I confirmed with the inspectors that they were told the bar was closed. They confirmed that. I inspected the establishment, found that the rear exit was gated, chained, and blocked. I advised Mr. Lee that exit can't be blocked and locked during business hours. My inspector's report and violations were explained to the licensee. Mr. Lee said he was too sick to attend liquor board hearings. Mr. and Mrs. Lee, again very upset, refused to sign or accept a copy of the inspector's report. I departed without further incident.
And you want to ask any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Commissioners, questions?
No questions.
All right, sir. You're going to, what is your name, sir?
Wendell Wright,
And you're an inspector?
correct.
All right, and what, if anything, can you add to what has already been said?
I can't add anything because Inspector Foster has indicated clearly what happened on that occasion.
Were you with him?
I went in prior to his coming in, and I asked if the rear bar area was open, and Mrs. Lee indicated that it was closed. And because we could not get in, she was there by herself selling packaged goods. We then left.
All right. Any questions of this inspector?
No, Your Honor.
Commissioners, any questions of this?
No questions.
All right, come over, sir. Give us your name.
Inspector Cleve Brister, Cleveland Brister.
And your assignment?
Was going with Mr. Wright and
Your
check
assignment to the inspector for the Baltimore City Liquor
Baltimore
Board?
City Liquor Board.
And on this occasion, did you have occasion to be present at this location?
Yes, I did.
And that was the 7th of September?
Yes, it was.
2014. What, if anything, additional can you add?
No, sir.
Do you corroborate the testimony you've already heard?
Yes, I do.
Any questions?
No, sir.
Questions of commissioners?
None. No questions.
All right, all testimony is in. Anything else to be added? All right, I'd be glad to hear from you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. and Ms. Lee are kind of struggling in their situation right now, as you've heard. Mr. Lee has advised me that he has the place up for sale. His prognosis does not look good, and they're going to need to sell this business. So I don't believe that there's anything within the last 3 years. I most respectfully ask the board to take some leniency on the Lees because of the health situation.
Any questions, anything else to be said by Commissioner? No. All right, with respect to punishment or guilt or innocence, I hate to use the word guilt because this, of course, is a board, not a criminal court of Baltimore City. So responsibility, I would say. Responsible for all the charges I find clearly proven. And the problem here is much more serious than usual because Mr. and Ms. Lee obviously are incapable of running this tavern. It's as simple as that. He comes in with cigarettes, but he says he hasn't got time to come down before the liquor board. And that, of course, was in September after having a March postponement because of his prior inability to come down because of his cancer. I'm very sympathetic to Mr. and Ms. Lee, but the sale of liquor through a packaged liquor store is a common violation, and it's going to continue to happen because they obviously are incapable of opening up the bar portion, which is a part of their responsibility under their license. So it's going to be a continual violation. Therefore, I find that it's necessary to close this bar as a warning of 1 month, starting today, and with a fine of $1,000 divided up, because I don't want to punish them financially. I don't think it's really necessary. So a $500 fine divided up. And my fellow commissioner is going to help me divide it. I know.
1, 2, 3, 4 violations.
So it'd be $250
$250
per violation, and plus costs, of course. And how much time do they need to pay it?
Request 30 days, Your Honor.
30 days. All right, fellow commissioners, your position.
I concur.
I concur, and I just want to say my own father's experiencing lung cancer, and we've had more time than we thought, and we've spent that time resolving whatever problems there are and literally taking care of business. And it's a very difficult process, and I just share that because I don't want it to be thought that this commission, this board is harsh in its decision and unfeeling in its decision. I completely appreciate their circumstance, but I also feel that Mr. and Mrs. Lee have not done what they need to do and have avoided taking care of the responsibilities. And so for that reason, I very much concur with the finding of responsibility, the imposition of the fine.
Your Honor, may I make one request in light of the situation here today? May I ask that suspension begin next Friday?
Any reason?
They're not here in order a little time to get their affairs together.
Absolutely. What's the date?
That was
10th.
Is that from the
October 10th.
the 10th of October? Is
Yes,
that-
sir.
Commissioners, do you concur? My fellow commissioner?
That's fine.
I don't concur. I don't concur, but it's 2-1, so.
So you voting no?
I'm voting no, but you two are voting yes, so,
Yes.
so therefore.
Why don't you concur?
I'll tell you why, and,
Maybe I'm wrong.
no, I'll tell you why. I feel like the witnesses, there are issues that aren't brought before us, but it is disturbing to me that the way that this denial, this access of denial to the tavern has been carried out, requiring people to give their driver's license to access. I find it highly offensive as a business practice. It is cannot be lost on anyone watching that denials are of 3 African American men. It is concerning. I'm not raising, and I gotta drink my own sauce that I've dished out. I cannot say that it is race-based, but there are certain similarities in the denials, and it's an issue of concern.
Suppose I ask Acting Chief Inspector Foster to check this establishment during this period of time of between now and the 10th of October to see whether or not whether or not the violation's been continuing. Does that have any influence on it?
Yes, that would be fine. It's just something that I note, and I don't like it.
Well, I don't think either one of the
I don't
other
like it.
commissioners like it either.
I don't like it. But October 10 is fine. I
Based
will
on that.
yeah, I will
Also,
support
Chief
that.
Acting Chief Inspector Foster, did you hear what I said?
Yes, sir,
I
Mr.
want you to
Chairman.
check this bar, and you can talk to council, and we're not going to tell them when you're coming, but if you find that there's been a continuing violation and our orders today are ignored, you bring it to my attention immediately.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, that is 30 days as in 1 month, correct? So that would be from October the 10th till November the 9th.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
The last item.
Tell me, you ready? Go ahead.
Okay. Fred Hill and Shirley Hill, Hill Inc., trade name The 19th Hole. This is at 2722 Hartford Road. This is a Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor, a violation of 5.3A, Class BD7. The holder of a BD7 beer and wine and liquor license must operate on premises consumption. The establishment must operate premises for on-premises consumption. This is again on September 7th, 2014, where inspectors were denied entry to the tavern portion of this establishment. I believe that John Howard is here as the agent, and our staff is here to make a presentation if the licensee is not. They're out here? Okay.
Come on over, Inspector Howard. All right, we're going to hear the case. All right, sir, swear the witness.
Raise your right hands.
Swear the witnesses.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
All right, at first I want to see whether or not the licensee has been notified.
They were notified and signed, Mr. Hill. Yes, by Mike Hyde. Mike Hyde made the service on September 19th.
All right, then our official records show that service has been made. All right, Chief, Inspector Howard, I'll hear from you with respect to, identify yourself by name.
Acting Assistant Chief John Howard.
All right, now, on occasion, did you have occasion to go to on September 7th, 2014, to 2722 Harford Road?
Yes, I did.
And what, if anything, did you find when you went there?
On September the 7th, 2014, at approximately 12:45, part-time inspectors Cleveland, Brister, Wendell Wright, as a part of our Sunday task force sweep of BD7 establishments that also have packaged goods departments, entered the 19th hole, and located at 2722 Harford Road. They attempted to gain entry into the tavern area and were informed that the tavern was closed and would not be open that day, which is a clear violation of the terms of their license.
That was so I understand your testimony. Are you saying that part of the place was open, but the entire place was closed?
The packaged good department was open.
Was open?
Yes.
And, but the tavern portion of the building was not open?
Yes, they were told it was closed and wouldn't be open that day. The doors were locked.
So the door
And they
from
were-
the front of the bar to the rear
Yes.
we don't know, we don't familiar with that.
And when you go in, you have a packaged goods area, and then it's a door leading to the rear of the building.
And that
door was locked.
Now, did you have occasion to get the door unlocked and see what was going on?
Yes, I did.
And what was that?
When I came in, when I came in, I asked, was the tavern area open? And the gentleman told me, no, it wasn't.
And who was that? Who was that person?
His name was Octavius Hill.
And what position did he play with respect to management?
He was the manager. The manager said that he was a temporary, he was filling in for his uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I showed my badge and informed Mr. Hill that he had given me the wrong answer to my question, and that he was in violation of the terms of his liquor license. At that point, Eric Hill, the manager, he allowed me entry into the tavern area. And that's when he stated that, Octavius Hill was only filling in for his uncle and did not understand all the rules and the regulations.
Are there any questions, commissioners?
No questions. Did you make this inspection by yourself, or whether anyone else with you on that inspection?
Well, at that point, they went in and then they came out and told me what had transpired. Then I went in alone.
And they is who?
When inspectors went Wright and Brister.
And they're with the Baltimore City Liquor Board?
Yes.
All right. Any other questions?
Now, I did perform a routine inspection, and all the other license and permits were up to date.
All right, sir. Come over, Inspector. Give us your name, please.
Wendell Wright, Inspector.
And your assignment to the Baltimore City Liquor Board?
That's correct.
You heard Inspector Howard's testimony.
That's correct.
All right. And what, if anything, can you add to it or change or what?
Can't add anything, corroborate what he said. That is, that he sent us in first, so that they would not know initially we were liquor inspectors. And we simply asked the question whether or not the rear bar area was open, and was told that it was not. And having that information, nothing else to ask them, because this is all we were supposed to do. And we went out and relayed the information to Inspector Howard, and then he came in.
Have you been back to this location since then?
Yes.
And what, if anything, did you find with respect to this? Any violation
Well, it wasn't open.
when you went back?
No,
And when was that?
I don't have the date, but there was
You
a
say not open.
young lady on duty at that time.
You're talking about the rear part?
The
bar,
rear part was
but
not
the
open.
package liquors was?
Correct.
And what time of day or night was that?
In the early evening.
And were you by yourself that time? Or with somebody?
I was with Inspector Howard.
With you?
Yes.
All right. Any questions, commissioners?
No.
No questions.
All right, Secretary Howard, come back over, please, sir. You, apparently, your name for the record again?
Inspector John Howard.
And you, you heard Inspector Wright testify, you went back to this location and found it not open.
Excuse me. Yes, I did, sir.
And when was that?
That was on, I thought I'd put it in the file. That was about a week later.
A week later. Why didn't you charge him? Another violation. Why didn't you charge him?
Really, I thought I had. That was my mistake, sir.
Huh?
I said that was my mistake.
Okay. All right, Inspector, come on over. Give us your name, please.
Inspector Cleveland Brister.
And Inspector, what do you have to add to this?
Personally, nothing other than Sunday I went September the 7th, exactly what Mr. Howard had in his report. We went in earlier and came back and reported to him that bar part was closed.
All right, now, did you have occasion to go back to this location with?
I did not go
You
back.
weren't present, did you?
No, sir.
All right. Did you yourself go back on any other occasion?
No, I didn't.
All right. Questions, commissioners?
No.
No questions.
All right. Any inspector have anything further you wish to say with respect to the problems with respect to this bar? I see there's been a prior violations on 2 occasions of sales to minors in 2008, 2005. Anything you can tell us with respect to punishment? Inspector Howard?
No, sir, I wasn't the inspector for that district.
All right, Inspector
And I'm not
Wright?
aware.
Or Inspector Brewster?
No, sir.
All right. All right, it seems to me we have another difficult situation here with respect to this bar. First of all, the licensees have been served, and they're not here, which shows a certain amount of contempt for this proceeding. And we have, again, what I'm beginning to find as chairman of this liquor board, a common violation of using packaged liquor stores and not opening up the bar, which is a mandatory use under the license. And when we have the inspectors going back and checking, complete disregard of the fact that he obviously knows, the licensees, that they've been charged. Therefore, I find this a very serious offense on this reason, and I, again, order the bar closed for 1 month, starting today, and in a fine because of the prior violations of $1,000 plus cost.
I concur.
All right, pick up the license, gentlemen. Bar is closed, and that concludes our docket for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good, thank you, folks.